It is time for the lockdown lift up. Hello, everyone. I am Allison Graham, and today's lift up is all about how do you take a break and recharge and actually feel refreshed. And this came actually based on a comment from yesterday's lockdown lift up when we had talked about taking breaks, and I was like, you know what? Let's use that as our conversation starter for tomorrow. And I am in the middle of packing and a bit of a whirlwind with my mom who's waiting for heart surgery and it got canceled. So sending prayers and thoughts to the person who's still on the table. Obviously there's a reason why that surgery went long, so hopefully everything's okay and she'll get pushed back again. But you know what, you can't control, you've just got to be okay with whatever comes and do what you can. And I'm packing up my life, but I moved all the boxes away from the screen today. So we're good. Okay, well, let's talk about breaks and how do we make them refreshing? Because yesterday's topic was all around the burnout and how do we avoid that and creating a culture within your organization that allows people to take breaks and whatnot. But the thing is that a lot of people, and myself included, don't necessarily know what will actually recharge them, because we can take a break and be just as tired at the end of it. Like if we're not having the same level of refresh and recharge that we need, then it's not going to be effective. So what do we need to do instead? Well, first of all, look at your breaks strategically. And in the new book, Take Back Your Weekends, which now actually has a subtitle, it's going to be Stress Less, Do More, Be Happier. So that is the plan for the new book. But I talk a lot about this in one of the chapters around you want to harness the power of good stress. So within a work block or a burst or sprint or whatever you want to call them, you want to have a goal, a deadline, and accountability. And that will harness the good stress so that you can really be super duper focused and productive in that short period of time. And then we need to take our foot off the gas, because stress works really well when it goes up and down and we come back down to our baseline. It doesn't work really well when we just go up and we stay up, right? That's not going to do any good for you, because that's not how our bodies are designed. So we need to do a peak and then a come down and then back up and come down and back up and come down. And so we want to put a time on that. And everybody's flow is a little different. Personally, I love a good 75-minute work block. That's what works for me. If I'm doing something really creative, for sure, that's really helpful. Now, sometimes it's 45 minutes. And I know that there are, it's a really popular system to do pomodoros and or tomatoes, which I used to call them because that's technically, I guess, what it means. But I also couldn't say it for a very long time, so I hope I'm saying it right now. Mel K, you can have a laugh about that one. But so here's the thing: when we do that, so the way the traditional pomodoros work is we do 25-minute work blocks. And the problem with the 25-minute work block is the whole point of doing a work block is we're supposed to get into flow. And I don't know about you, but I'm not in flow. Like I'm just getting to my flow when I get to 20 minutes or 25 minutes. And so, I find it's too short. It's just too short. So instead, we want to do sort of that focused effort for a little bit longer, whatever works for your schedule. And I really, truly believe that an hour of focused, intense, let me use the word focused again, people, focused work effort will produce more output per hour than if you spend 8 hours in front of the computer, not really focused and not using and leveraging that good stress. Okay. But the point of this conversation is you've got to have the break. So the first thing to do when you use a system like that, where you're, sort of going to your baseline and then you're coming, focusing really well, and then you're coming back down and kind of having that break, is that if you get into flow or you start working on something, you may forget to take the break. Who's with me? Right? Like I do it. I'll just get carried away. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 3 or 4 hours. And I'm like, then I stand up and I'm almost like, whoa, wow, what did I just do? And so we've got to set a timer and some sort of an alarm, some sort of a system that can say, okay, now is a time to get up and take a break. So that can be really important. I just got one of my packing, but I needed to lay down. Hope you're well. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Corey. Yeah, you're more than welcome to be here. I'm super happy you're listening. And if you have to lay down, look how perfect. Great topic. You gotta take the break, and this is perfect. So a great segue in. When you take the break, you've got to do something that's going to recharge you and potentially energize you for the next work block. So research shows, and I'd love to find where I listen to all this, and I will eventually, just not this week with everything going on, that watching TV and vegging out in front of the television is not actually a really good recharge for our brain. And it's interesting because that's always my go-to. Oh, I'll watch a show and have a break, or and I'll grab dinner or whatever. But apparently that's not a really great way to recharge. So instead, look at what really makes you feel great. So is it getting quiet time? And maybe you're in a home that has lots of people and lots of chaos around. Well, get a set of noise canceling headset and put it on for 5 minutes of total quiet, like, would be awesome. And so that actually relaxes the brain. Doing deep breathing techniques. A friend of mine, Kira, just did a whole session on pranayama breathing and how you can integrate that into your day. And, if you're interested in that, let me know, because I can send you to her, because I'm just really exploring a lot of that. Not to be confused with when somebody, you're stressed or, you're really concerned. It's like, just breathe. Like, I tell you, when people used to say that to me, especially this one guy, he's always like, oh, just breathe. And I'm like, you know what part of my body not working makes you think or my body working and I'm still alive, makes you think I'm not breathing? So it's not a great thing to tell somebody else to do. However, it is a great thing to do. So doing some deep restorative breaths into the belly and really feeling good. The thing I love to do, though, to recharge on my breaks is a dance party. So get the music on, put on the headphones, the AirPods or whatever you're using, and just go for it and have a really good, 3-minute song that makes you feel totally energized. My laptop had to be plugged in. All good, Corey. No worries. I'm grateful to have you here. So thank you for being here and perhaps trying to balance through it. It can be hard in prioritizing. Not sure that fits into the topic, but it does fit. Yeah, my laptop had to be plugged in, but recharging is called a good night's sleep. Yes. You know what, Corey? I think we met on Clubhouse. How's that? And maybe because we're on Clubhouse, that's how you met me. Oh, sorry, because I'm reading these comments, folks. And I'm sorry, I didn't put them up. So, yes, Corey is, again, this is the thing. You got to know what is going to inspire your refresh. And one of the things I've noticed is that it's technology can sometimes be our biggest drain on our senses. So I don't know about you, like, I'm getting a little older. I need the reading glasses, and I am at the end of the day, like, my eyes are just like, I need to not look at a screen. So one of the breaks I've been taking is I actually sit in my front window, which I kind of always think, and I just stare out the window and watch people go by into the sunshine. And it's funny because I always, like, I laugh because I'm like, oh, this is a dog's life, because that's what my dog does. Sits in the window and watches things go by, right? Oh yeah, thanks for joining us, Winston. I mean, I've been on air already for a while and you're just arriving. Normally he goes up right as I start speaking. But just enjoying that time. So I find it's kind of like either something that energizes you or something that totally zens you out, especially if you're doing a recharge that is prepping you to go back to focus work. Okay. So it's different maybe at night when you're, just like you're done work for the day. But if you are trying to figure out how do you recharge during the day to try to avoid the burnout, is it's got to be something that's going to serve your brain. Rest your eyes if that's something and this is where the self-awareness comes in. Like, I know I need to get my energy popping, going to get another round in. I know that I've got to shut off my brain and stop thinking. I will catch myself sometimes that I'm traveling around the house with this and I am waiting for, like just reading and reading and reading. And although I love reading everybody's posts and posting myself, it's not good for the recharge. It can actually, like when your breaks are draining you, like you see how that's sort of not not good, right? So what works for you? I would love to know, like, what makes you feel really David Langford. Sorry, now I'm reading the comments. See, this is, people are starting to find out. So David used to laugh at me because when Subway, I got to tell people what this means, David. So a break is sometimes just a good laugh. You know how I'm such a huge proponent of laughter as a medicine and a tool. But Subway, they used to cut their buns across like a normal person would cut bread. And then they started Ving it and like, wrapping your meat, and then you get uneven meat and the things all squish out the side, and I never could do it. And so every time we used to work together at the paper, and anyway, so he would laugh hysterically because I'd be like, can you cut the bread all the way across? Anyway, so fun. Yes, Suzanne. Winston, he knows. Right on cue. And Greg. So Greg is the one who was inspired this topic, which is great for today's lockdown lift up. Some kind of grounding exercise helps me, or even physical exercise like a run mid-morning or over lunch, which is fantastic. And it doesn't always have to be something really long. Like one song can just flip your energy, right? And sometimes when we have things going on in our background, like I've already shared with you very openly, that my mom is, again, the surgery is not happening. So she was all prepped, supposed to go in at 2:00, and they came in at 2:40 and said, we're going to postpone. You can't do it today. And so, I'm sad for my mom, right? Because she was all ready and prepped and going in, and psychologically, it's a big deal to go in. And I had to do a quick reset, right? Like just before I came on air, I got my makeup on, and not a lot, as you can tell, but I just got ready to come here and serve you and show up in this moment. And so sometimes when we take that break, when we get that reset, it's going to happen so fast. And we don't have a lot of time. And that's why we've got to tune into our self-awareness and know exactly what is going to make us feel great. So for me, I put on some music and I had a little chat with myself and was like, okay, got to focus. And so knowing that. Now, away from tech, I said that. Know what refreshes you. Okay. I thought you packed, Winston. Monique, you're too funny. No, although let me tell you, this little guy so he doesn't normally sit on this couch over here. He sits in the window where, as I was sharing earlier, can be a really nice place to break and just watch what's going on outside and get a cue from Mother Nature and grounded. Well, anyway, on Saturday, he was so annoyed because there's just boxes everywhere. And, there were some stuff on his couch in the window. And so instead, what he did was he got up on some of the charity clothing that I'm giving away and pointed his nose into the wall, like just stayed there as if to pout, which I thought was kind of funny. Oh my gosh, Tracy, turning off the notifications on your phone at 6 p.m. and then put my phone down at 8 p.m. for the night, which is incredible. Like, A, it takes discipline, and B, it's like, what a refresh. Like, I love that. And it's the notifications, ding, 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 ding. And even throughout the day, like when I do one of those work blocks, I'll turn off my notifications and then look when I come off of it to see if there's anything there, and try my best to leave the phone alone for that recharge, which is great. I'm trying to, okay, so these are nice long ones here, Corey. This should really help my friend Alex amongst others. Yes, so please do that. The comment section seems squished. Yeah, on the screen, I think it's LinkedIn. Not sure how you do it. The dog seems into this. He totally is into this. He knows this is where he hangs out. I think um, he loves this, time, and we're always here, right? With COVID and the lockdown. Like, although the first round in the lockdown, I think there were points in the day when he was like, why are we not going anywhere? Like, this is getting a bit much. You can leave. I want my alone time. Right? So, they need it too. But I hope that gave you some ideas. So figuring out what you need and what's actually going to recharge you as opposed to what other people think you should do. Like, there are people who go and do yoga and they love it and they just feel so grounded after. And there are other people who go and do it and they fall asleep and they miss their afternoon, right? So it can go either way. It's like, what is going to serve you? And so resting the brain, giving it a chance to just, and that could be in many different ways. Closing your eyes, putting on the noise canceling headset, putting on some chill music, putting on some really great music, whatever it is. The problem is I think the zombie TVing, when your thing is doing your brain is off, but the TV is doing the thinking for it, right? So just using that in a thoughtful way. So I hope that helps. Take a break that works for you, figure it out, and then you gotta incorporate it into your day, because if we will burn out if we're going like anything longer than 75 minutes, maybe 90 minutes doing one task or sitting still at our computer and not actually getting up is so detrimental to our health. It is so detrimental to our energy stores and to our work outputs. Like, we're not as productive when we get past a certain point in our body. And you have to know what that time is for you. Because, like, for me, like I said, I like that 75 minutes. Feels really good. I just kind of get into a flow. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the break. But if I don't make a point of setting the timer, I will just keep working through. And then you know what it's like. You get up at the end and you're like, oh my gosh, that was hard. Oh my gosh, Suzanne, a playlist is absolutely key. And whenever friends are around, or which is these days is not that often, and I want to play a playlist, I'll be like, okay, I got to ask Siri to play one, or, on Spotify or whatever, because my playlists are so incredibly all over the place, right? Country music, Eminem, some rock, some pop, like a little bit of everything, a very eclectic musical taste. So that was good. Yeah. Oh, I do laps around my house when my Fitbit tells me to get up. I found in my packing, I actually found a Fitbit today, old school, like the old one, and I don't have the charger for it anymore. Had to let it go. And I wouldn't mind something like that. I actually thought about an Apple Watch as well, but they're so big, My wrists are tiny. They don't look that tiny on camera, but they are in comparison to the phone on your thing. All right, what's Greg saying? I have had success with the work specifics playlist. They put me in the zone. Oh, I like that idea. Like, actually having a playlist for the working time, right? See, I have the playlist to get me pumped up time or to chill me out time, but not a working time. Although one thing I used to use, I haven't been using it lately, is because I've been doing what I'm doing, but is binaural beats. Have you ever heard of that? The binaural beat. So basically it's just like a tone that or whatever, and it's at different levels, and you can do like focus one. Oh my gosh, when you put those on, if you want a copy of it, I'll send you a screenshot of the actual one that I love. And if you put on the focused binaural beats, I'll tell you, it's hard to think about something other than what you're actually focused on. It's really cool. So that helps as well. Okay. Ironically, the lockdown lift up is my break lately. I love doing this. I love that you're here with me. I do it because I want to stay fresh in these times, and every day have to come on, not have to, get to come on here and share with you and hopefully give you a few laughs, some ideas to incorporate into your life. And it's definitely a real pleasure. So thank you, each and every one of you who are here. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow at 3:15 p.m. Eastern for yet another lockdown lift up. Oh, David, Samsung. Okay, yeah, but see, I'm an iPhone, so I don't think it works. But that's a really good idea. Yeah, a smaller, nicer one. You know what? These are not the priorities of my day, but I do love it. But I'm getting up and getting the work in. So listen, have the best day. I hope whatever you are doing, you're going to do it intensely and love every minute of it. And then you're going to take a break and recharge and then go do it again or do something else. Okay, bye.